Okay, today we're going to do a altered file folder mini book, and it's going to look something like this. I made this earlier, and it opens up, and then there's some flaps there. When you open a flap, then I have some bookmarks, and this one opens up, and I have a little piece attached to put some recipes and things on it. And then I have another one that opens this way. And you can decorate it or make it any way you want. I mean, this is just for demo purposes. So, okay, let's get started. Okay, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to take a file folder, an 8.5 by 11 file folder, letter size file folder. And you need to have the tab on the bottom right or the top right. You can't use a center tab. So the first thing I'm going to do is square off, cut out, square it off. So you see how there's a little edge there? So I'm going to cut that off so that it's square. And then I'm going to square off the other edge. Okay. Okay, so now my folder is pretty square. Now I'm going to take my scoreboard. And with your scoreboard, we want the tab on the bottom right. And you're going to open it up, and then the long side, which is this side here, what I call the long tab, this side is going to be up against your scoreboard on the left side. So then you're going to score at 3 3/4. And then you're going to score at 8 1/2. Now you might already have some folds there, but we're doing this here because we want to gusset. The natural fold is 8 3/4, so that should stay there. And then you'll have a little 1/4 inch gusset between the 8 1/2 and 8 3/4. Okay, so then what we're going to do is we're going to close the folder and then open it up and put it up against the left hand side. So make sure that the bottom right is where the tab is, and it's open on the left hand side. Just make sure you hold it there, and then you're going to score at 5 1/8. Okay, so now you're going to flip your file folder so that the long side is on the top. And we're going to score it at 6 1/2. You see how the long side is on the top? Now you can open it and score it and then fold it over, but I'm doing it this way. I'm just scoring at 6 1/2. So you have to make sure you go over it a few times because you're going through two sides of the file folder. Okay, so now you should be able to fold up your file folder, and you can see how it's going to make some pockets. Okay. So now at the top, we're going to, when you fold it over, the top, this part should be here. The long side should be at the top left. And take your pencil and write on there. That's going to be where we're going to cut out. So we're going to say that we're going to write that it's a cutout pocket. Just so writing on here just makes it easier, so you make sure you don't cut the wrong thing. And then the square over here, you're going to write cutout flap. Okay, so now you're going to take your, you can take a pen, you can use your paper trimmer, or you can use a pair of scissors. So I'm going to take a pair of scissors and I'm going to cut out where that pocket is supposed to be. You're just cutting it out on the score line. And then save that, put it aside because we're using it later. And then do the same thing for the flap. You're cutting it out on all three sides basically. Okay. Okay, so now I have one that I did earlier, and it should look like this. Okay, so you have a flap here, you have a flap here, and then when you use your bone folder to burnish them down, burnish all your score lines down, so then you can fold them up, and then you have your little 1/4 inch gusset right there, so that it should give you that much room for your booklet. Okay. So now with the pocket, we're going to score some more. We're going to take the one that says cut out flap. You're going to take it, put it in your scoreboard, and we're going to score it. If I can find my scoring tool, here it is. You're going to score it at 1/2 an inch. Okay, and you can bend it over. Now take the one that says cut out pocket, and you're going to score it again at 1/2 an inch. And then you flip it and score it at 1/2 an inch again. Now what you're going to do is you're going to take some score tape or some tape that you have that's very strong. When you fold these over, you're going to put some score tape on them. Okay, and for the pocket one, you're going to do the same thing. I mean, for the cutout flap, you're going to do the same thing. You're just putting it on one side. Now, with the one that says cutout pocket, we're going to miter the corner. So we're cutting it across where the X is here. You see in the corner there. You're going to cut it across so it looks like that. So when you close it, you can see that they don't touch because we want to make sure that the pocket is smooth. Okay. Now, you can attach the pocket on the bottom here on this flap. So I'm going to pull off the score tape. And then I'm going to put it up, give a little bit of a border inside the score lines. Make sure they're inside the score lines, like at least 1/8 of an inch inside, so it folds over. So now you have your little pocket there. And now the flap, you can put it in the middle, you can put it at the bottom, you can put it wherever you want it. I'm going to put this one in the middle. Again, make sure that it's at least 1/8 of an inch inside of the score line. So now that's your flap, and this is your pocket. Now, with these two, what we're going to do is we're going to cut 1/4 of an on this side, this one on the right side, you're going to cut 1/4 of an inch because we want to make sure, so you cut down here, you want to make sure that it goes nicely within the score line, so when you open and close the flap, it's smooth. And we're going to do the same thing on this side, except I'm going to cut like 1/8 of an inch on one side and 1/8 of an inch on another side. You can cut it a little bit more, a little bit less, as long as you get it inside the score lines here. So this one I've already done, and you can see that it folds nicely. Now the only other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to round my corners. If you have a corner rounder, it's just an extra little cute thing that it looks nice when you round the corners of the flaps. Round the corner of the pocket up here. So now the fun part starts, now the part when you decorate it. Now I'm not going to decorate it now because I've already done one, and it, you know, basically you have to measure your flaps and your pieces so that you make sure that you do them correctly. With this one, you could also take, you don't have to put the pocket on beforehand, you can put it on before or after, whenever you want to do it. I did a similar one and it was a little bit more complicated, so I made it simpler. But you can, when you make a pocket, you can basically put your pattern paper down to measure exactly like 1/4 of an inch inside of the borders of the margins around it, so that you have, and then you make something smaller to fit inside the pocket, so that when I did the first one, this one I cut and I had made sure that it was around 1/4 of an inch around, and then around inside where the pocket is. And then I just made some tags here for bookmarks. So basically that's your, you know, file folder mini album. I'm going to use mine to record things that we've done during quarantine. So have fun and thanks for watching.